Techniques for quick and efficient textbook reading. It may not be enjoyable to read textbooks, but the ability to do so is important. Textbooks will be a large part of your reading in schools and universities. Understanding how to read and use them effectively is key to academic success. If you read in 10-page chunks broken up over segments of time, you will recall more and have to do less rereading later when you review. Another key feature to reading textbooks is to review. Reviewing 24 hours after reading and then just a few minutes each week will dramatically cut down on the cramming you might do for an exam. The tips below will help you to be an active and effective reader. Number 1. Things to do before reading. Textbooks can be boring, tedious, and much too complex. Jumping into a textbook without a general understanding of the fundamental ideas and topics might make textbook reading more difficult. When we move from general to specific, we learn the most. When you preview and construct a big picture of a text before reading it, you'll be able to better recognize what's important as you read and recall more detail. Read over chapter objectives and headings, visual charts or pictures, and bolded vocabulary words. All of these components give you important clues about what the authors intended for you to understand about the chapter. Read questions and summaries at the start and end of the chapter to get an idea of the main points and questions to keep in mind. Ask yourself, what do you already know about this topic? What will be the hardest to understand about the topic? What do I need to get out of this chapter and for what purpose am I reading it? Number 2. Things to do while you read. Plan to read about 10 pages at a time. It's typically about a 1-hour block. And give yourself a few hours to get an idea of your pace. Read at least one full paragraph or short section before you highlight or take notes to get perspective of what's important for each part. Try to visualize mental pictures of the material. Sometimes it even helps to draw out diagrams or pictures to visualize information. Answer the questions you developed while previewing the text. Read aloud if you encounter complex information or you get distracted. Reading aloud improves comprehension and retention of information. As you read through your text, highlight important passages that support central themes and concepts. Be selective. If you're highlighting more than 20% of a passage, you're not being selective enough. As you read, try and identify important concepts and facts that could be likely test questions. Circle with a pencil key terms and vocabulary. Write a short definition for each in your notes or in the margin of the textbook. Take well-organized notes on the backside of your corresponding class lecture notes. This way your lecture notes and textbook notes for the same topic will be easy to access and review in preparation for the test. Make visual aids including picture, graphs, diagrams, or tables to help visualize what you're reading. Visualization is a great way to take information that is complex or difficult and make it easy to understand and remember. Write a brief summary of the central themes and ideas in your notes. Being able to develop a summary of what you learned will help you master the material and retain the information. Number 3. Things to do after you read. What you do after you read a text can be almost as beneficial to learning and retention as reading the text itself. Once you've finished reading a text or passage, sit down with someone else and tell them what you read and what you learned from the text. Explaining aloud what you've learned from reading is arguably the most effective way to promote mastery of material and improve retention. Joining a study group is a great way to have the opportunity to share with others what you've learned from your reading. Review. And then review again. Within a day of your initial reading, spend 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the amount of material covered, reviewing your notes and the information you learned, reciting the main points and topics. This will move the information from short-term to long-term memory. Each week spend about 10 minutes reviewing your notes and the highlighted parts of your text. Reviewing will make sure you're prepared when test time arrives.